Hi, FlossTube Stitchers. Well, the snow did stick on Monday. I really thought the snow would be gone when I woke up on Monday morning. I didn't think it was going to be cold enough for it to stay around, but it did. So it was like a little quiz from the universe as to if we remembered how to drive in the snow, if we could find our snow scraper, and if we had gotten our boots out of seasonal storage. So it was a little quiz for what's to come. But it was 60 degrees this weekend, so it was much more pleasant walking the dogs. And I'll hang on to the warmer weather as long as I can. I don't like the snow, but yet I'm not moving anywhere, so I just have to deal with it. My vintage stitch this week is kind of a three-parter. It's from a book called Charming Welcomes 1 by Homespun Elegance. And I know I saw my chart not too long ago, like within the past few months, but I couldn't find it this weekend. So I don't know the date, but judging by when Charming Welcomes 3 came out, I'm thinking this was the late 90s. Now, I stitched these a while ago, but how many times have you heard me say, I found this in a weird place? So I found this sometime last year, possibly when we were packing up to get the new carpet. And it was with the frame, and it was in a bag and in a place that suggested I had moved it that way from the old shop. Now that would have been like 12 years ago. And back then, I don't know, maybe when I stitched these, I was probably still trying to do my own framing, because I did that back in the day. And what happened was the bag was open at the top and something had fallen off of a shelf and scuffed the top of the frame. And so I probably put it away going, now I have to try to, fix the frame. And then I, of course, forgot about it, which I am known to do. Anyway, I gave it to Bonnie last week and she stretched them because they all go in the same frame. I'm going to show you the back first. So she put turn buttons on the back and spaced them so that they didn't interfere with the screw eyes and wires, so that it would be easy to take them apart for the different seasons. And what she chose to put in it were the Halloween pumpkins. So the frame was scuffed right down there. You can kind of see it if you look close, but then again, there are other marks on the frame that are supposed to be there because it's a little bit of a weathered look. And I want to give you one of Bonnie's secrets. I don't think she would mind. But I started asking her a few questions as to what should she use, and should I have something like that in my arsenal to use if I get a nick on a frame at home. She reached over, grabbed a black magic marker, wiped the marker on it, and then used her finger to smudge it in. And the whole time my eyes were wide, because I probably would not choose to get black magic marker on my hands. But anyway, she fixed it up while I was standing right there. And then, because I said, well, if we can't find a good way of hiding that, I'll just scuff the frame up in other places so that it looks intentional. But anyway, it worked out great. And the chart is still available. I checked Homespun Elegance on Etsy, and she still shows it as a $12 chart. It also includes designs for the welcome with a house, which could be like an everyday welcome, and you could change the house color to what suited you. Then there's a patriotic heart and a Santa. So she kind of covered all the holidays. Another one that is part of that series is the snowman. And I used all the suggested colors, probably the suggested fabric. I think some of these might be the Perman linen, and whatever charms she called for. So I just did it as the book suggested. And then the third one from the Charming Welcomes 1 is this cute little bunny. And the basket is so clever because you stitch the French knots so that they look like they're in the basket. So I might decide to contact Sandra Sullivan at Homespun Elegance and see if she's still sending to shops. I feel like I might have misunderstood way back when she semi-retired, because she stopped doing the shop automatics with new releases. And I'm not sure she does too many new releases anymore, but I thought she was just done with shops and she closed her physical shop, and I thought she was just gonna sell from her Etsy store. But I feel like I've seen her charts on other shops' websites. And so I need to reach out and see if I'm mistaken, because I do have some older homespun elegance. And if the charts are still available, why not get them and support the models that I already have stitched? Okay, so that was my vintage. The new models are both Christmassy. This is Merry Notes by Shepherd's Bush, stitched by our friend Marlene. Yes, she sometimes does other holidays, not just Halloween. She chose to leave off the Jabco buttons. I think there's a snowman, a star, and maybe a couple snowflakes. I honestly didn't remember until I looked at the original chart. So they add something, but then again, no one else who looks at this would ever know that she decided not to add the buttons. This is a really cute series of charts called Notes that are for all different seasons. And they're just $8. And the one thing I like about them also is that they have some extra model stitch so that you could do something as a needle book or an ornament or a garland. And I think that's clever. They did theirs on light mocha. Marlene possibly used 28 eucalyptus. That's kind of what it looks like, because she was part of the 2023 Atomic Ranch Automatic, and that was one of the colors that year. And it says she finished it in 23. So I'm thinking that's probably what the color was. Then my other new shop model was stitched by Bonnie. You know, she loves Stitches by Ethel. She did hers a little bit different. You know, she likes to add beads. So she chose more of a, well, I think the original was done on a raw linen. So she chose a warm raw linen, stitched with one strand, added beads, of course. I helped her decide what color she was going to use. She decided to make all the stars the ecru color bead to match the moon, the stars and the moon. And then she chose the beads that she put instead of the white stitches in the trees, and then the candy cane. She did those in white to match the snow. She added a little bit of whisper, and she might have used my trick for just doing the top cross in the whisper instead of doing the under, because it's kind of a pain to work with. But it's so cute. It's so simple, but it's so cute. And then a custom frame. So that is Christmas Moon. Okay, then I have been monogamous this week, working on Christmas Magic by Primrose Cottage. I had to go back through my notes to see when I had started this, and I believe it was November of last year. And I pretty much worked on it all through December, got pretty far, probably didn't pick it up again until just recently. So I'm working on this again, and I will finish this by Christmas, but of course I've missed Bonnie's framing deadline, and I'm sure that we don't have anything ready-made that this would fit in, and I don't have a finisher, so I can't have somebody make it into a pillow. So I'll finish the stitching by Christmas. That's my goal, but it won't be fully finished. So I'm stitching it on 14 count Crystal Ale from Picture This Plus. That's also available in other counts and styles of fabric. It just so happened that I had it in the 14, so that's what I chose, because I wanted to get started stitching on it at that time. I'm using the suggested color and cotton flosses, and I know there were a few missteps in the printing. They mixed up some of the symbols for the light and the dark green. So my suggestion, as always, is to pay close attention to the color picture on the front. Sometimes I even take a picture of it so that I can enlarge it on my iPad to see better. But just keep checking back and forth, because there are mistakes in a lot of designers' charts that are corrected maybe for the second printing, but if you have a first printing and nobody makes you aware of it, you'll just be following the chart and maybe not paying attention to the color picture. So I've learned my lesson over the years, and I try very hard to compare the two before I even start stitching. That's been really fun. It's 2 strands, and the Aida is soft enough that it works well in a plastic hoop, and then I just move it around, and then all I have to do is stretch it a little bit, and it looks like all of the hoop marks are coming right out. All right, that is going to be my giveaway this week. So those of you who haven't stitched it yet, or maybe you'd like to win it and give it to a friend, my question is, would you be more likely to stitch it as a full picture like I am, or would you take individual portions and do smaller things? Let me know if you've done that with other charts. I really like the way Primrose Cottage shows that on their charts and gives you reasons to want to stitch it for multiple types of finishes or gifts. And I always appreciate when the designers stitch something more than once and show you some finishing ideas. Okay, then what's new? I did just get in the Atomic Ranch Christmas Holiday Collection. It's 4 colors. I didn't get a lot of demand for it, so I ended up only ordering it in Aida and Lugana, no linen, because nobody had reached out to say they wanted it in linen. I'm sure all of these colors can be reordered, but I believe they were all new. I think that's kind of the idea of their collection, although every once in a while they might use a color that was already released. These are all new to me. So I have a set of the 28 count Lugana and the 16 Aida and the 32 Lugana. I only have certain colors left because I have sold some of them individually. These are all 1/4 yards. So this is Frankincense, Jack Frost, Mistletoe, and Sleigh. So if you're interested, reach out, because I didn't get very much. I think I only got 2 sets of each. Then we got the November automatic from Classic Colorworks for their Belle Soie. And those were the 3 colors: Miss Green Jeans, Paprika, and Walk the Plank. And I decided to show you these so that I could put a little commercial in for next year. I do not know yet if Diane is going to do a 2026 automatic, but I had a few people reach out, and I decided, after looking at their website, counting the colors they had, I decided that we could do another year. So she hasn't specifically said she's not, but in the newsletter that we got last time, it just said, "Can you believe there's only 1 more month?" And she didn't say anything about 2026. So I noticed another shop was advertising it, and so I decided to watch their latest video to see what they said. And they're curating their own colors as well. So I thought, oh, well, great minds think alike, because I decided, even if it's only for a few people, I'll still do it. I'll still do the 10%, even though I wouldn't be getting 10% off. I'll still do that, and I'll still give free shipping to people on the automatic. Let me just do this to get it out of the way. I got this in my last Hoffman order. R&R fabrics are sometimes hard to get, and some of the colors are gone for like a year before they resurface. So let's see if I really could not find a perfect DMC to go with it, but I did find a Weeks Dye Works that might give you a good idea. So this is Patriots Brew, and it was only available in 32. I would have loved it in 36 or 40, but they only had it in 32, so that's what I got. And Dirt Road is the Weeks Dye Works color. In person, it's a really good match. And then the two DMC numbers, one of them is a little too warm and one of them is a little too gray, but you get the idea. It's 840 and 3863. So I do have a whole yard of that. Then other fabric that we got is from Stony Creek. I know a lot of people don't even realize they do fabric and thread, and I was a little late to the party too. I think Spooky Orange is the only color I've had before. I think everything else was new to me here. And because of the way they're folded and packaged, I did not take them out of the plastic. So I'm just going to show them to you as best I can. I'm showing them to you in 14. There are two colors that are not available in 28 and one color that looks completely different. So I'm only going to show you the one 28 count that looks different. And I just have one package of each because I was ordering buttons and charts and this was an afterthought. But this is Clear Sky. This is Ghostly, and it's mostly kind of like a lavenderish gray color. But in the 28 count even weave, it's definitely more plum. I think this is really pretty. It reminds me of one of the newer Zweigart colors. And I believe, I don't know that they ever said, but I believe this is overdyed Joblin. All right, then Mysterious is not available, at least yet, in 28, only 14. And I should also say, because sometimes when I don't give enough information, I confuse people. They're only available in 14 Aida and 28 even weave. Stony Creek doesn't offer any other of their own fabric in other counts. Who knows? Maybe they'll expand someday, but I have no knowledge of that. All right, this is called Night Sky. This is Opalescent Sky, and this is only available in the Aida. This is Spooky Orange, and the color is very much similar in 28, but it's less mottled. This is Thunder, Touch of Ecru, and Twinite. So I only got one of each. Let me know if you're interested. I remember the last time I ordered the 28 went really fast, and I think I might have a few 14s still left. I might have gotten two of each last time, but the 28 went pretty fast. Okay, so that is the Stony Creek fabric. And then, let's see, I think we're just on to new charts. The only automatic I got in charts was Heartstring Samplery. Did I? Yes. Okay, I did think of a question for the Christmas magic. Okay, I'm distracted by my notes. Okay, this is Heartstring Samplery. E is for Evergreen, part of their alphabet series. Marshmallow World. And this is so cute, and I feel like it's a little different style for Beth. I love the trees. And this is Snow Day, which is part of her little mini ornament stocking collection. I love how clever it is that the skier is going off the snow and that's the heel. I just think it's clever positioning there. And then Repeat the Sounding Joy is also part of a series of little monochromatic sayings. I wasn't showing you the price, sorry. Just ask me if you can't find out another way. I think this one was I think this was out of stock from the distributors when I tried to order it before Halloween. So the Old Black Cat from Annie B's. And then Cuore y Batacore has Halloween Farm, Nativity in Quilt. This is another one that you could just do the little scenes as pictures or ornaments. And then they have a Santa Claus calendar. I wish it was a better picture, but you know, she was trying to get all 12 in the same scene here, but they're really cute on the polka dot fabric. Then Timeless Topaz is part of the Birthstone Quaker series, From the Heart. Jardin Privé had R.I.P. Halloween. I could have been talked into continuing my Halloween stitching if it hadn't snowed. That made me put it away. All right, then from Leela Studio, this is a series of words as well. This is love. This is peace. I need to do this because I love the colors and the reindeer. 'Tis near Halloween. I'm sorry, I'm totally leaving off the prices because I'm trying to show you the picture closer. Little House Needleworks has Winter at the Home of a Needleworker. Woohoo Stitches is up to October in her monthlies. Madame Chantilly has Autumn Carillon. And Halloween Flight. Pansy Patch has Drusella's Pumpkin Stew. And there's always a Jack in the Patch. Scarlet House has Fa La 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 La. And Oh Dear. So I'm probably going to do both of those because I love her trees and her deer and her funky fonts. So Sweets of the Vine Pin Keep from Scattered Seed Stitches. Silver Creek Samplers. I don't think this is all that she had new at this time because I think the distributors were out of stock. Boo Hoo. Needle Little Love. To Have and to Fold. And Where Flowers Bloom. I think this is really pretty with the bees. I'll probably have to do that too, and I'll just have to add blue in there. Maybe I'll make the flowers blue instead of plum. Then Val Stuff has Bats Take Flight. This is not a kit, just a chart. This is Boo Crew and Who Are You, which does include the backing fabric and the perforated paper. And she often includes buttons if she uses them. And Gobble Till You Wobble. Then Quaint Rose Needle Arts. Christmas Animals in Pants. This made Emily laugh yesterday. So cute, so clever. All right, Meow-O-Ween. We have lots of grays and plums and lavenders that these would look good on. That's on the agenda for next year for me. And then Mixed Media Needle Art. It sounds like this might be a series because this one's called Stitching Paraphernalia. And Sunflower Picking. And Blackbird Inn is a biggie. And then last but not least, just because of the type of chart this is Trick or Treat Square, which is kind of a new series from Little Robin Designs where you get 3 little scenes for the same holiday or theme. All right, so those are new charts. I don't know how many new charts we're going to see from now until That's my husband. I was almost done. Okay, then last week's winner of the We Santa 2017 and the linen that goes with it is Kimmy Miller 1372. And I did comment on her comment, but I thought I'd say it here too. Got to give two ways of catching people. Sometimes they're a little bit behind in watching the videos. I also sometimes remember to put it in the show notes in case that captures their attention. So, okay, I got through everything on my list, and we will see you next week. And then the following weekend is Thanksgiving, so there won't be a video that weekend. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.